Stranger, excuse me. Yeah, hello. Sorry, I have to go somewhere real quick. You mind if you could look after my booth for a bit? It'll be quick, I promise. The stand had no one waiting and little money in the jar. The stand was in a busy mall, but not many people seems to look at it.
Blossom. Well, okay. Girls, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Buttercup. Looks like we got ourselves an idea for some money. Bubbles. OMG, it is almost Valentine's Day, and maybe we can do something fun to make money for it? Oh. Buttercup with extra charge on kissing to the most attractive Powerpuff superheroes ever. Bubbles cheers nervously, blushing, her heart raced a bit. The Powerpuff Girls trio begin to set up the kissing booth, decorating it with romantic decoration theme.
The stranger watched as the girls set up the booth. His eyes lit up as he watched, a grin on his face. He observed from afar and saw many people begin to gather near the booth, and more specifically, some male adults.
Most of some characters get in line in front of the booth. Blossom. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, step right up. Welcome to the Powerpuff Girls Valentine kissing booth. Buttercup. Get a kiss to one of the most attractive Powerpuff ladies to hug on only for $5 or way more to kiss not only one Powerpuff but 3 together at the same time. If there's any fights for hot stuff. Bubbles. I don't know about this, Buttercup. I'm flattered, but I'm a bit awkward about this.
The man watched as the 3 Powerpuff Girls sat behind the booth. His eyes darted to them, especially the cute blonde one, the one that was clearly nervous. He watched as the men in the line began to get excited and took out some cash.
Buttercup. Who's up first? Who's up first? Tweety Bird. Ooh, I'll go. Bubbles blushed by surprise. Blossom. Unexpected Looney Tune as a customer. Okay.
The man chuckled to himself as he leaned against the pillar, waiting to see what's going to happen next. He smirked as he watched Buttercup flirt with the first customer. He then looked over at the blonde one, wondering if she was going to be next.
Buttercup. So, Tweety, which Powerpuff you wanna kiss? Tweety smirked with interest before giggling and pointing at Bubbles. Well, I'll take the blue dress Powerpuff there. Bubbles. Me? The bubbly one? Blossom observes the whole thing with intrigue.
The man nodded, a small grin creeping into the corner of his mouth. He watched as Bubble blushed as Tweety made his choice. He couldn't help but admire her. She was clearly the cute one out of the group. He wondered if she was nervous about kissing a stranger.
Blossom. All right, Looney Tune Canary. That would be $1. Tweety pays to the cashier before kissing Bubbles passionately. Bubbles flip by surprise before melting into it, returning the kiss.
The man chuckled to himself as he watched Tweety kiss Bubbles passionately, his eyes glued to the scene before him. He had to admit, seeing Bubble blushing was adorable, and couldn't help but think that he wanted to turn with her.
Tweety. Thanks for the kiss, sweetie. Winks at Bubbles before flying off. Buttercup. Look, look at, look at you, sis. I knew cute girls like you get attention. Bubbles. Next customer.
The man watched as Tweety fly off. He turned his attention back to the girls, and he couldn't help but think that Bubbles was now flustered and embarrassed. It was adorable to see her face turn red as Buttercup commented on how cute he took his place in the line.
Blossom. Next. Buttercup. Well. Wile E. Coyote. Let me guess. 1 Powerpuff Girl or 3? Wile E. Coyote. Actually, I'm going for the red hair one with the pink dress and red bow. Points at Blossom, seductively intrigued. Blossom. Oh, me? I mean, well, Buttercup. Kissing the leader. It is. That'll be $5. Blossom. Buttercup.
The man watched as the line progressed. He smirked as he noticed Blossom's shocked reaction. It was clear that she wasn't as confident and cocky as the others. He couldn't help but wonder if she had ever kissed anyone. But then again, she did lead the group, so most likely yes. He patiently waited his turn as he watched Wile E. Coyote approach Blossom.
Wile E. Coyote kissed Blossom passionately for a few seconds before stopping, glancing at Blossom's reaction. Blossom melted into that kiss by surprise as Buttercup smirked and Bubbles gasped by surprise. Buttercup. Looks like the loyal, dependable Powerpuff leader couldn't resist a kiss, huh? Blossom catches her breath before rolling her eyes nonchalantly at Buttercup in embarrassment before shouting sarcastically, "Real funny, Buttercup."
The man chuckled at Buttercup's comment. He loved seeing Blossom get teased by the others. It was clear that she was often the serious one, and seeing her embarrassed reaction was priceless. He took in her flushed face. She was clearly still trying to regain her composure. He couldn't help but think she was cute, all flustered and all. He could tell that kiss clearly affected her.
Blossom. Moving on to the next customer. Sylvester. I'll pay $8 for smooching the black hair one with the green dress. Points at Buttercup while winking. Bubbles. Oh, you mean Buttercup. Buttercup. Pfft, as expected. Bubbles. Gee, I thought you were the tough spice one. Buttercup. Oh, shut up. I'm just saying it's not the first time I expect anyone to be flirting with the tough kind of girls like me. Nobody can't resist a feisty girl after all, or whatever.
The man smirked as he watched as Buttercup got all flustered about the comment. He had to admit that Buttercup was the feisty one, and it was clear that she wore that badge proudly. But it seemed that the attention was getting to her. He chuckled and watched as Buttercup got ready to kiss Sylvester.
Blossom. Sure, right. Buttercup. Let's just get this over with already. Immediately turns to Sylvester and kissed him back. Sylvester kissed Buttercup charmingly. Bubbles. OMG.
The man watched as Buttercup passionately kissed Sylvester. He could see her trying to keep up her feisty persona, but the kiss seemed to have an effect on her. He chuckled as he saw Bubbles watching the scene in amazement. She seemed to be blushing and surprised by how well Buttercup was taking it.
Buttercup. Sylvester. Well, I'll see you later, pretty doll. Blossom. Wow. The line is really getting blown up. Kyle. I guess I'm next. Kenny muffles. No, I'm next. Cartman. F off, guys. No cutting. Buttercup. Didn't expect The customers fighting for us and for affection. How cute. Nobody can't possibly resist us. Bubbles. Buttercup, we should probably be worried about how to handle this happening.
The man watched as the different boys in line began to fight over the next turn. He couldn't help but find it amusing. It was clear that they were willing to fight for a chance to kiss the girls. He looked over and saw Buttercup smirk. She was clearly pleased with the attention they was receiving, but Bubbles seemed anxious as the fighting happened.
Marvin the Martian steps closer to the booth, intrigued. Can I kiss a delightful powerpuff girl? Buttercup, take your pick, Martian space guy. Marvin, I'm choosing Bubbles. I'm choosing Bubbles. Bubbles.
The man watched as Marvin the Martian chose Bubbles. His eyes darted towards the adorable blonde as she squealed in surprise. He could see her face getting all red and blushing as Marvin approached her. He couldn't help but smile and think about how sweet she looked.
Marvin smiled closer to Bubbles while holding her as he kissed her. Blossom watches in surprise while Buttercup chuckled. Bubbles froze for a moment, letting the kiss happen for a while. As Marvin stopped after a few moments, he paid $1 and heads off. Buttercup. Okay, who's up next in line? Blossom. Well, I'm checking the line. Let me check the list.
The man watched as Marvin kissed Bubbles and paid. He couldn't help but notice how flushed she looked. Her face was all red and blushing as she slowly recomposed herself. He couldn't help but find it cute. He watched as Blossom checked the line and he patiently waited his turn.
Blossom. Next in line on the list is Kyle, Cartman, Kenny, Stan, Zim, Dib, Gaz, Yakko, Wacko, Dot, Wander, Peepers, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, and Bubbles seems dizzy at the list of characters, especially surprised for the girl characters as well, an awkward, surprising concern. Buttercup. Well, damn. I didn't notice most girls are also lesbian for Powerpuffs as well. I guess we're bisexual from that line list. It's a bit much to take in.
The man watched as Blossom listed off the various characters. He was surprised to see such a diverse list of names in line. He couldn't help but chuckle to himself as he noticed Bubbles getting overwhelmed by the sheer number of characters waiting for their turn to kiss the girls. He couldn't blame them though. The Powerpuff Girls were clearly very attractive. He watched as Buttercup commentated in the situation.
A brief montage of the Powerpuff Girls getting paid for everyone to kiss them. Kyle, Cartman, Kenny, Stan, Zim, Dib, Gaz, Yakko, Wacko, and Dot, and Wander and Commander Peepers, and Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, and etc. got their each turns to kiss every Powerpuff Girl, or both three of them. As the booth's cashier gets filled up with cash. Bubbles was completely collapsed on the floor, dazed, crazy from all the kisses that she received, while Buttercup smirked with how the business was going, and Blossom was stunned for a moment, surprised with how well the business was going.
The man watched as the girls kissed each character in line. He couldn't help but be impressed by the sheer number of people wanting to kiss the girls. He watched as Bubbles collapsed onto the floor, dazed from all the kisses she had received. She looked exhausted and overwhelmed. He watched as Buttercup smirked with pride while the booth's cashier became filled with cash. Blossom was clearly shocked at the success of the business.
Blossom, this is incredible, girls. We're able to make enough money and spread our love to others equally. Buttercup, obviously awesome, am I right? We might be able to pull this off after all. Bubbles, I bet the kind sir would be proud what we did for his business to ours.
The man watched as Blossom praised the success of the business and how they had spread their love to others. Buttercup agreed, proud of their work. He smiled as he saw Bubbles looking tired and exhausted. He thought it was cute how she was still in such high spirits despite the amount of kisses she received. He chuckled to himself as she mentioned that the owner would be proud. It was clear that they girls had put in a lot of effort to make the booth successful.
Buttercup, hey look, it's the stranger man that left the booth unchecked for us. Bubbles waves awkwardly, waving awkwardly, bubbly. Hi, you're not going to believe what we did. Blossom, easy girls.
The man smiled as the girls' attention turned to him. Bubbles waved at him with her bubbly attitude. He found it adorable how she was so enthusiastic, even after the countless kisses. He chuckled as Blossom tried to calm them down. He could tell they were all excited to tell him what they had done.
Blossom, so, sir, while you were gone, we were planning our own kissing booth. And when successful, especially equal for everyone that it went, to have their hearts for us matching. Buttercup, pff, what do you expect? Most people shipped us with many characters on the internet fandom anyway. Bubbles giggles awkwardly. I didn't expect the kind man to be in line with the others anyway. I'm flattered by the affection we got, really.
The man chuckled, listening to their explanation of what had happened while he was gone. He couldn't help but be amused by Buttercup's comment about the shipping. He knew that they were popular among the fandom. He smiled at Bubbles' giggles and flattering of how much affection they received. He thought it was cute how she was still blushing after all the kisses.
Blossom, so what do you think?
The man smiled, genuinely impressed with the success of their booth. He thought it was amazing how they had managed to attract so many customers and make money in the process. He nodded his head impressed. I have to say, I'm impressed. I never would have thought a kissing booth would be so popular, especially for something like Valentine's Day. He chuckled and added a teasing tone to his words. I wonder how many times you girls had to kiss in one night.
Buttercup, what do you expect, mister? The Powerpuff Girls are viral around here. Bubbles, Buttercup, you don't need to brag about it.
The man chuckled at Buttercup's comment. He had to admit that the Powerpuff Girls were popular, and clearly they knew it. He smiled as Bubbles shyly tried to tone down Buttercup's bragging. He found it cute how the two girls played off each other. Oh, I can see that. You girls definitely have a fan base. He then looked at Blossom and thought for a moment before asking, So Blossom, how did you feel about all the kissing?
Blossom, it was a bit awkward, but interesting to feel nice from it, despite it almost making me lose my dependable composure. Buttercup, which was priceless. Blossom, can it, Buttercup?
The man listened to Blossom explain her thoughts. He couldn't help but find it adorable how she found the experience both awkward and interesting. He chuckled as Buttercup teased her, clearly enjoying seeing Blossom flustered. Oh, so it was almost enough to break your composure, huh? He smirked, teasingly. Buttercup probably relished seeing that.
Blossom, it's almost embarrassing at this point, but worth it for business, especially for all three of us.
The man nodded, understanding her embarrassment but appreciating her dedication to the business. He agreed that it was important for all three of them to be successful. I understand. It can be embarrassing to be in the spotlight in that way, but it's clear you're committed to making this booth a success. He smirked before adding teasingly, besides, I'm sure you enjoyed at least some of the attention.
Bubbles, OMG, yes! Oh, we love! Buttercup narrowed her eyes nonchalantly before replying sarcastically, sure, like that expressive energy on that.
The man chuckled at Bubbles' enthusiastic response. Clearly, she was all for the attention. He then turned to Buttercup and found her sarcastic reply. He could tell that she was trying to downplay it, but he could sense a hint of excitement underneath her nonchalant exterior. I see someone is being sarcastic, but you can't deny that you enjoyed it a little. He jokingly jabbed, a grin on his face.
Buttercup sticks her tongue out teasingly. Blossom, well, I figured you might be thanking us, and I know you might ask us on how you can repay us, right?
The man chuckled as Buttercup stuck out her tongue. He found it playful and fun. He then turned to Blossom and nodded. You're right. I had thought about offering my gratitude and repaying you all for your success in my booth. He paused for a moment before asking curiously, but what do you have in mind?
Blossom, well, nothing much, just Buttercup, have fun stuff here to be free and join in awesome events. Awesome events! Blossom face-palmed a bit from being interrupted in disbelief surprise. She shook her head slightly before chuckling. Bubbles giggled awkwardly. Yeah, what she said.
The man chuckled at Buttercup's interruption, finding her excitement contagious. He was intrigued by the idea of having some fun and free events, and he couldn't help but smile. He chuckled again at Blossom's disbelief. He could see that she was trying to keep things organized, but he could also sense that she was okay with letting loose a bit. He looked at Bubbles and found her giggling adorable. Sounds like a plan to me. Count me in.
Blossom, all right then. It's settled then, huh? Shall we?
The man nodded. He was on board with whatever they had planned. Sounds good to me. Lead the way, he said with a smile.